As promised, folks, we are bringing you the preview to the University of Miami versus Florida Gators game this Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. at the Hard Rock in Miami Gardens. A lot to unpack here, a lot to talk about. This matchup is obviously a rivalry. While some people live in this world of rivalry, I am not one of those people. I do believe that basically the team that plays better is the team that wins the game. There are some people that believe that in a rivalry setting, the intensity increases or there is some new want to or passion to win because it is a rivalry. I don't subscribe to that because if that was the case, every single rivalry game would be a close game, right? That's what the implication is when you're talking about a rivalry game. Now, with the Miami versus Florida game, you can look no further than last year as Miami slaughtered the Florida Gators in Gainesville 41-17. And if you look at the history of these matchups, these games between these two teams have largely been over the last 40 years blowouts. There's been a couple of close games, but it's because both teams played to this similar level. Whereas more often than not, it's been a blowout. So I don't subscribe to that. Heck, you could look at Florida State, Miami. I mean, last year, Miami blew Florida State out. Now, the year before that, when FSU was 13-0 in the regular season, they beat Miami 27-20 in Tallahassee. I went to that game. I thought FSU played like trash. And I'm a Hurricane fan. I thought FSU played like certifiable garbage. So I thought they completely overlooked Miami as if Miami was unimportant. And I do think that is where people get this mentality and thought process that it's a rivalry game, it's going to be close. Or that, one team is going to play much better than they usually play. When in fact, the reality is when you have one team that is considered to be so much better than the other, then sometimes they have a letdown because they don't take it as seriously, even though it's still a rivalry game. Whereas if they had played that exact same team and that team was better than people thought, like let's say you had FSU Miami and FSU that year was 13-0, but let's say Miami that season went 10-2, something like that. You would have seen probably a different performance out of the Florida State Seminoles. Just my opinion. Nonetheless, let's talk about this game. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Show Mott. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts of this video, commentary, and of course, let me know your thoughts of the game. Who do you think is going to win? How do you think it's going to go? Who are going to be the impact players of this game? We're going to talk about that right now. So let's dive right on in. Now on the surface, based on results, Miami 3-0, Florida 1-2. Florida starts the season as a ranked team, wins its first game 55-0 over LIU Brooklyn, but then the next two games loses 18-16 at home to South Florida, and then loses again this past week in LSU 20-10. But you have to widen the lens. And this is not about rivalry. This is about reality. Florida, while you can look at their record and look at their schedule, you can see a team that offensively might be a little bit challenged, but defensively is very solid. South Florida only scored 18 points against Florida. LSU only scored 20 points. Mind you, of those 20, 7 were on a pick six, 3 run after an interception for a field goal. So realistically, they only give 13 points, and 10 of them were off of turnovers. Now, you can also ask yourself the same question. Well, is it that Florida's defense is pretty good, or is it that LSU's offense was terrible? The LSU offense being terrible is an arguable point. You could realistically say that. They've only scored 60 points all season in 3 games, averaging 20 points a game. So it's not exactly a far-fetched thought process to say LSU's offense sucks. But USF scored 34-35 against Boise. They only scored 18 against Florida. And against Miami, they scored 12 in a blowout loss. All that said, University of Florida offensively is led by DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway has had I don't say up and down year, mostly down. He is a mistake waiting to happen. He has thrown for 629 yards, 71 of 100, 71% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, but he's been prone to throw interceptions, including 5 against LSU. I think the Miami defense will be in line to create some turnovers from Lagway. I think he's easily disruptible. And realistically, I don't think he takes this thing seriously. That is my biggest thought on DJ Lagway. I don't think he takes football seriously. His responses after the game against USF was like, oh, it was just one throw. Well, that one throw arguably cost you the game. So when he makes statements like when you have from a quarterback, you sit here and say, is he all the way focused? Is he all the way there? Is he all in? And I think from what evidence has shown this season, he's not all the way there. He's not all the way focused. He's not all the way all in. Now, last year, he was forced to start due to injury to Graham Mertz as Mertz got hurt against Miami. Now, as the season progressed, DJ Lagway started looking better. However, here we are right now, and he did not get much of fall camp. He was injured, and he looks like someone who is not all the way there. He looks like he's not ready. He looks like he's easily impacted by pressure. He makes errant throws, despite the fact that he's completed 71% of his passes. It's just not been a crisp season for him so far. And Miami's defense has the ability to get to him, put pressure on him, and make his life miserable. And considering the fact that Miami just absolutely dominated a quarterback very, very similar to him, probably a better version of him in Byron Brown, one could argue that Miami is going to roll Florida in this game. Now, that is something to really look into because Byron Brown is an older player. He, is successful. He's a good player, and they're very similar. Mobile, athletic, good arm, but can make mistakes. And if you stop DJ Lagway, do you stop the Florida Gators? That's an arguable point as well. I think Florida has a more balanced offense. They do have a running back in Jaden Ball, 37 carries, 247 yards, 243 yards, 6.6 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. He's their only real threat in the backfield. They do have Jacoby Jackson, who's rushed 20 times for 59 yards. So he's not really all that much to be worried about. DJ Lagway is the third leading rusher with 18 carries for 31 yards. So you got one guy in the backfield. In the case of USF, it was really Byron Brown. So you might have to look at the running back a little bit more than with South Florida. However, Florida's offense is going to run where DJ Lagway takes it. And Miami is primed with having to stop DJ Lagway. Defensive line has to dominate. Ahmad Moten, David Blay, Justin Scott, Rueben Bain, obviously. Rueben Bain and Akeem Mezdor are going to be massive in this game. Can they get pressure? Can they dominate? That front four has to dominate. And if they dominate, Miami wins this game going away. Receiver-wise, the Gators have Vernell Brown III and 16 catches, 197 yards. Hayden Hansen, he's their tight end, 13 catches for 117. And you have Eugene Wilson III, who's got 14 catches for 66 yards. Basically, sounds like a swing pass receiver. They don't have a whole lot. They don't throw the ball to their running backs a whole lot. And again, you're looking at a team that is very, very limited offensively. Although they have done a very good job with time of possession, it has not resulted in wins. They're averaging about 36 minutes per game with the ball, 35-29 per game with the ball. They had the ball against LSU like 35, 36, something like that, 37 minutes. So they had a lot of, it's 37 minutes plus. Against USF is about 35 minutes. But against LSU, you have the ball for that long, you should score some points. But they kept turning the ball over. And LSU's offense is rather horrible. So there's that. Then you look at the defense. They are led individually by Miles Graham, who has 17 total tackles, and Jaden Robinson, who has 12 total tackles. Interceptions wise, they have only produced one interception this season. Sacks wise, they have produced 2 sacks for 6 yards, half sack to Cameron James, 1 sack to Tyreek Sapp, and a half sack to George Gums Jr. For Miami's sake, Miami's offensive line is dominant. They have an experienced offensive line that's been fantastic. Carson Beck has been kept upright pretty much at all times. So I don't foresee the Florida Gators defense having that much of an impact on Carson Beck. Realistically, Miami obviously has to establish some type of run game to ensure that Carson Beck stays upright. Mark Fletcher has to have a good game. I'd like to see Mark Fletcher have another 100-yard game like he did against South Florida, where he was running like a battering ram. Carson Beck, I think we're going to see lots of more of the short passing game with him trying to extend the field at different times. But again, with the games that they've played so far, I don't know that Florida's defense is so great, or if LSU's offense is terrible, or even if USF's offense is all that great, because Miami did play them and Miami shut them down. And realistically, outside the Boise State game, USF has not had a lot of success offensively. This game is in Miami, of course. So it's going to be a ruckus crowd, 7:30 start time. A lot of Hurricanes are going to have a lot of drinks in them, and it's going to be loud. It's going to be obnoxious, and the way it's supposed to be when you invite someone into your building, you let them have it. Now, offensively, Miami, Mark Fletcher, Carson Beck, the receiver core. I don't see Florida stopping these receivers. I don't see Florida having a lot of impact against Carson Beck. And, I'd like to see more from Elijah Lofton. We don't know yet. Both Jordan Lyle and JoJo Trader are both supposed to be available and ready to go. Jordan Lyle is more of the home run hitter running back, so it will be nice to have him back in the backfield, someone that can break plays, because he did break plays last season. So that is someone that I would like to see get a chance to tote the ball, because it's more of like a thunder and lightning type of scenario with him and Mark Fletcher. JoJo Trader, I don't know if this is the game where he gets an opportunity, because obviously you were hoping he would play versus Bethune. Didn't happen. Hoping he would play versus South Florida. Didn't happen. But he is said to be good to go, according to Mario Cristobal. So how many reps, how many snaps will he get to have a chance to make an impact? Malachi Toney, CJ Daniels, Joshua Moore, they're established. They're the 3 main guys, and DeLon Marion, the 4 main guys. So how many snaps does JoJo Trader get remains to be seen. This is a game that I am looking to see if Miami is willing to open the playbook a little bit. So when I say open the playbook, I don't mean throwing it deep. I mean, you might run some stuff that people have not seen before. You may run a trick play. You may run some end around, reverse, double pass. These are the types of games that that I'm interested to see if that happens. Absolutely. I want to see Carson Beck throw the ball down the field. Mario Cristobal remains a little bit more conservative. So he's going to run the ball. He wants to establish a running game. He wants to dominate up front. And you got to dominate up front. If you dominate up front, you win. I mean, it's that simple. Don't turn the ball over. Dominate up front. You will win. The question is, how much do you win? I still want to see Dylan Joyce get some good punts. I hope he doesn't punt at all, because if he doesn't punt at all, that means Miami's scoring a lot of points. But if he has to punt, I want to see Dylan Joyce switch the field. I don't want to see a punt from the 20-yard line that gives the ball to the Gators at the 40 or the 35. I want that ball to be down at the 20-yard line. We have not seen that yet from Dylan Joyce this season in punting the football. So that is critical, especially if you're getting into a defensive matchup. If you're in a situation where teams aren't scoring and this is a slug 'em out fight and the defenses are making stops both ways, your punter has got to be effective and put the ball in positions to help your team, help your defense. Now, coaching-wise, Billy Napier has been highly criticized. There's a world of pressure on Billy Napier. This guy, they want to fire him. It's crazy. Both of these coaches have at some point experienced high criticism, next level criticism, obnoxious criticism, calls for their jobs. And Billy Napier right now is sitting in that seat where the Gator fans want him gone. They've had it with him. So he could, at the same time, with the performance against Miami, shut his fans up for a minute. But let's be real. Miami's a better team. Miami is a better team. It's just that simple. And when you have the better team, more often than not, presuming you don't make stupid mistakes, you don't throw pick sixes, you don't fumble the ball, you don't give up possessions, you are going to win the game. And I think Miami's going to dominate this game. I think Miami's going to control the line of scrimmage. I'm interested to see who wins kickoff, because the fact that Miami lost the toss last Saturday against USF, I think worked in its favor, because it obviously went right down the field and scored to go up 7-0. And that was it. That was it. Made a stop, next possession, 14-0. You do that against Florida, game's over. Just like the South Florida game, the game is over. So now, obviously, if they win the toss, they're going to defer and they're going to take the ball in the second half, play defense to start the game. And then if they do that, you have to make a stop on that first possession. First possession will always be critical. You cannot allow Florida to get any kind of emotional momentum on that first drive. You cannot allow their fans to get into the game, because there will be a lot of Gator fans there, man. Mark it down. It will be sold. It's sold out, I'm sure. But there will be a lot of Gator fans in that building, and they're looking for a reason to make some noise. So that first possession, offensively, touchdown, defensively, shutdown. That simple. You do this, you jump up ahead, you make them play from behind, and guess what you got? DJ Lagway running for his life, having to chuck the ball all over the field, and you know he is prime for a mistake. And with his nonchalant, laissez-faire attitude, where it's just one throw, it's just this, it's just that, you can turn this game into a rout real fast. I can tell you this. If Miami played Florida last week and got 5 picks on DJ Lagway, Miami would put up 50 points or more. They would put up a lot of points. Do I expect him to throw 5 picks again? No. Do I think Miami will put a lot of pressure on him? Do I think Miami should I also do think that Mohamed Toure will be huge in this game, because he's going to have to spy Lagway. He's going to have to be a guy that's spying Lagway. Again, this is going to be very, very similar to Byron. And I do believe the fact that Miami was so successful last week in stopping Byron Brown, especially on the ground, keeping him contained in the pocket, tackling him on first hit. Like, Miami's tackling well. So being that they did that and they faced that, there's a confidence level, comfort level. Because I'll tell you this, if Byron Brown had pieced up Miami and Miami still won, let's say 49-35, you may not have that same confidence level defensively. But defensively, I think they're going to have a great confidence, because they stopped a guy very, very similar to Lagway, a more experienced version of this guy. And I just think Miami's going to have a big, big day. I think there's a lot of excitement in Coral Gables. I think there's a lot of energy. College game day is going to be in Coral Gables. You can't have college game day in Coral Gables and then not perform. I will tell you this. I wish college game day was at the stadium. I don't know why they're doing it at the school. College game day should be at the stadium. When they did it back in the day at the Orange Bowl, it would be at the Orange Bowl. Why in the world are you doing game day in Coral Gables on campus? it should always be at the stadium. It doesn't make sense to me. We have a different type of campus. Get those guys there at 9 o'clock in the morning. I promise you, that parking lot would be full at 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, I won't be there at 9 o'clock in the morning, nor would I think about being there at 9 o'clock in the morning. But that parking lot, people would be there all day long. And I don't like the fact that the damn game day is at the school. It doesn't have the same impact to me. But it is in South Florida. It is in Coral Gables. And I think that brings a lot of excitement to the game, a lot of energy of the big game environment. And of course, people will go with the rivalry stuff and all that stuff. End of the day, Miami's going to get the job done. Miami's going to blow these dudes out. People can say what they want. Miami's going to blow these dudes out. Florida can't score. Miami can score. Carson Beck has seen Florida before. And I think it's also good. Carson Beck has played the Florida Gators multiple times. So there's no feeling of not being accustomed to playing in this type of game. I think people got to understand that Carson Beck is a gamer, and he's really showing that ability once again. He's got experience, big game experience. He's played everybody, and it's going to be another big-time performance. It's going to be another big-time performance from Carson Beck. I think he's going to have a great, great game. I think Miami's going to come out, punch him in the mouth. And I think at the end of the day, thinking of a score, I'm thinking 45-14, 45-17, something like that, in that range. I said 38-17 last week against South Florida. I think you're looking at a similar type of game, 45-14, maybe 45-10. I don't know that Florida can score. They don't have a great offense. They can jump on their 55-0 versus Long Island, LIU, Brooklyn. Who? Don't mean crap. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. And I appreciate y'all's support of Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Get all your Hurricane coverage and information and the unfiltered thoughts from me, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont, right here. And also, we're giving away lanyards to Hurricanes Unfiltered lanyards. So beat the stadium. We'll have probably a few hundred of them to hand out to fans. There's a barcode on there. Subscribe to the channel if you get one, but definitely please support the channel. Greatly appreciate y'all. Once again, Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.